Good morning, YouTube. This is Chuck, and it's Thursday, June 6, 2024. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning, and it's D-Day, and I'm over at the Veterans Memorial, and I've got a little D-Day story of my own, so I thought I'd take time to tell you this morning. And the first actual paying job I had was at a gas station. And I was a pump jockey, and that was back in the days when people put the gas in your car and washed your window and checked your oil and checked your tires and did all that kind of stuff, and before self-serve gas stations became all the rage. And so that's what I did. I was 16 years old at the time. Well, there was another guy that worked there, and his name was Grant. And Grant was a World War II veteran. And he was a real soft-spoken guy, and he didn't talk much about his military experience, but there was a couple times he did, and I kind of relayed the stories that stuck with me over the years. And he said he was actually involved in the landing on D-Day, and he came in on Juno Beach, not Omaha Beach, but Juno Beach. And he said the landing craft that he was in, as soon as they started taking enemy fire, he said they didn't even go any closer to the shore. They dropped the ramps and they told everybody to bail out. And so he bailed out into chest-deep ocean water. He said it was really cold, and the footing wasn't real good, and they waded ashore from there. So he said they got out of the water. He said it was under heavy enemy fire, and he said they were soaked to the skin and cold, and he said it was pretty brutal, but he escaped that landing unscathed, even though a lot of other people didn't. And he told me that he went on for 39 days in constant combat and never took his boots off for 39 days. And said when he finally got a chance to take his boots off, he had trench foot so bad that most of the skin on his feet came with him. They immediately evacuated him to the rear, declared him unfit for combat, and sent him home. The other little story he'd like to tell is he said in that whole time, in all that combat, he only came face to face with one German soldier. And that German soldier, he said they're getting shelled with artillery, and so he dived into a bomb crater, and he said there was a German soldier curled up in the bottom of that bomb crater. And he said his first reaction was to say, "What are you doing here?" And he said the guy spoke to him in perfect English, and he says, "Come on in, it's more cover for me." Well, it turned out the guy was actually a German American who'd been drafted into the German military. And he didn't want to be there, and he was only too happy to surrender to the Americans and to get away from the front and become a prisoner of war on the American side. So anyway, Grant didn't talk much about his exploits, but he did say that he had foot problems for the rest of his life, and even when I worked with him, he had to wear special shoes because his feet always bothered him. Then my father was a World War II veteran as well, and I don't know exactly where he was on D-Day, but he enlisted, and they trained him to be an aircraft mechanic on B-24 Liberator bombers. And he was originally sent to Sicily, and then as the war progressed further north, they moved him up into Italy. Well, he never came under any direct bombing or direct shelling. He was always on the rear. And he said that most of the time they were there, what they were doing is they were sending their B-24s over to bomb the oil fields in Ploestua. And he said they'd send them out every day, and most days all of them came back, and some days one of them didn't. And they would spend the whole time when they were back getting them serviced up, fueled up, patched up, and ready to go on another bombing mission. So my dad went overseas on a troop ship. He said they were obviously worried about German submarines at the time, but he was there for the rest of the war. There's a couple quick little stories about D-Day from my perspective. So as I always tell you, take care of each other and love each other. And there will probably be never be another major landing like D-Day was. We're way too advanced in figuring out more efficient and better ways to kill each other than that. But it is a bit of our history. It's 80 years old. 80 years ago today it happened. So say a little prayer for the people that passed away, and also a little prayer for all the survivors that were left behind to mourn them. And I'll talk to you again here pretty quick. I'll give you one more shot of this. This is a very, very quiet, somber place. If I tilt up too much, I'll get you into the sun, but there's the flags. And until I talk to you again, let me just tell you, peace out.